Let's discuss and look at some good conversation starters. So hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to English with Ben. In this video, I wanted to give you some examples of some reasonably good conversation starters. So it can be really difficult when we're out in public or when we're at work meetings or even at parties or do's. It can be really difficult to go up to strangers or people we don't know too well, or even colleagues who we don't speak to that much. It can be really difficult to think of what to say, how to start a conversation. So I wanted to give you a few ideas of how to start a conversation. So here are a few good conversation starters that I would use. So the first one is probably the most cliched, but you could ask about the weather. Talking about the weather is a bit of a cliched conversation starter because it happens so often. The fact that it happens so often could mean that actually it's a fairly safe way to start a conversation. So you could go up to someone and say, wow, what wonderful weather we're having today. Oh my goodness, how bad is that rain? One of the reasons why talking about the weather, especially if you're meeting in the physical, so it doesn't work as well online because maybe you're in different places. Although if you were online, you could say, how's the weather where you are? One of the reasons why this is a good conversation starter, in my opinion, is because it is a shared experience. Probably you've both had to travel to the location and been exposed to the weather. So it's a shared experience, something that you've both felt and something that you have in common. Common grounds is a good place to start a conversation. While we're on cliches and shared experiences, you could mention the traffic. This is another very common conversation starter, especially at work functions and things like that. If you're working or living in a city, chances are you've had to fight traffic to get to the place where you're going. So this could be something else that you've shared with the person you're trying to start a conversation with. You could say something like, how bad was the traffic? Maybe there's a subway or a train system in your city and you could say, how busy were the trains today? Maybe your train was late or your bus was late and you could say, oh, the buses or trains, they're always late. So talking about the traffic could be an easy way to start a conversation, although maybe it's not the most interesting thing. Like I say, it gets the conversation flowing. Something a little bit more personal and perhaps more engaging, you could ask them, what are your plans for the weekend? Or what are you doing this weekend? Usually we save our favorite activities for the weekend because it's when we have the most time. So this could be a good way to start a conversation about something that interests both of you. Could be a good way to get to know someone a little bit personally because they're gonna probably be doing the things that they actually enjoy at the weekends in their free time. So yeah, asking about the weekend is always a good option, very easy and kind of nice, pleasant conversation starter. If the location is somewhat interesting and perhaps you're meeting at a function room, or a meeting hall, or perhaps it's a restaurant or bar, you could start the conversation by asking, have you been here before? And if they have, you could ask them, oh, what's good on the menu? So this is another very easy way to start a conversation and works best when you're at a place that you've probably not been to too often. This wouldn't really work if you were in the office or at a relative's home. But if you were meeting, like I said, at a bar or a restaurant, this could be a really good way to start a conversation. And it could also give you some insight into what is good at the restaurant. So there's a bonus point to this conversation starter. This might be one of my favorite ways to start a conversation, and that would be to give someone a compliment. You don't have to go over the top. In fact, if you went over the top, that would be a little bit like off-putting. It might be a bit strange, but you could simply tell someone, oh, nice shirt. I really like your hat. Those are amazing shoes. So you could maybe notice something about something that someone is wearing and give them a bit of a compliment about it. It always feels good to receive compliments, and it always feels even better to give compliments sometimes, especially if you're at a function or do or party where people have probably put a lot of effort into the way they look and the clothes they're wearing. So yeah, this could be a great way to start a conversation. And finally, my final idea for starting a conversation, this one works best if it's a party. You could ask, how do you know the host? So let's say the function you're at is Mark's birthday. You could ask someone, oh, how do you know Mark? This could be a nice and easy way to start a conversation. Hope you found these useful, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.